You may or may not have heard of him, but he is undeniably one of the biggest esports legends of all time. His name is Manuel Schrinkhuizen, better known as Grubby, and he is one of the most successful competitive Warcraft 3 players in history. Grubby's career spans over 20 years in competitive RTS gaming. But as competitive scenes rise and fall, one thing will always remain true. Grubby is always there, an icon of the genre, reminding us why we fell in love with RTS games in the first place. This statement has never been more true than it is in 2025. In this video, we will dive into how one man has managed to achieve what Blizzard have not been able to for almost 2 decades. How Grubby single-handedly led Warcraft 3's resurgence, making it the most popular it's been in 15 years. Warcraft 3, released in 2002 with the expansion The Frozen Throne in 2003, saw its peak in popularity between 2005 and 2010. And the competitive scene was a huge part of that. At this time, Grubby wasn't just a top player, he was arguably the face of the game. By far, its most recognizable and beloved competitor. Sadly, unlike the competitive peaks of many games in more contemporary times such as League of Legends, Dota, and Counter-Strike, due to a lack of support and eventual release of StarCraft 2, the popularity and competitive scene began to fade, and slowly Warcraft 3 began to drift into irrelevancy. Then, there was the announcement of Warcraft 3 Reforged. For the first time in over a decade, excitement surged across the Warcraft and RTS communities, as well as for longtime Blizzard fans who had fond memories of the Warcraft series. Grubby was also excited. The game he truly loved was being revived, and it was a chance for the community to return stronger than ever. But, sadly, this became one of the most infamous botched game releases in history. Blizzard shattered the trust of the Warcraft 3 community with bold promises of a faithful yet revitalized remaster, only to deliver a shell of a game. Reforged not only didn't follow through with promises of a revitalized campaign with new graphics and cutscenes, but it actively ruined much of the functionality of the existing online play, whether through the matchmaking system or attempting to completely exploit the custom game system. In addition, the updated graphics they did provide were widely lambasted, and to make matters worse, Blizzard forcibly replaced the original Warcraft 3 with this version, leaving players with no option but to endure this broken state or leave Warcraft 3 behind entirely. Blizzard alienated the Warcraft 3 community, the very players that were so eager to delve into their favorite RTS once more. In a heartbreaking fashion, just 1 year after Reforged release, Grubby started to step away from streaming Warcraft 3. Fast forward a few years, Grubby had been variety streaming, including games such as Dota 2, Heroes of the Storm, Age of Empires 4, Elden Ring, you name it. There was the odd Warcraft 3 stream sprinkled in every now and then, but it wasn't until 2024, when invited to the OnlyFangs streamer guild on Hardcore Classic World of Warcraft, that we take a major step towards today's story. Brushing shoulders with a number of content creators from so many different backgrounds, Grubby was also invited to cast a free-for-all tournament hosted by Tyler1, the League of Legends streamer. This tournament saw a group of streamers fairly unfamiliar to Warcraft 3 compete for a small prize pool in a 5-person free-for-all. Off the back of this, Grubby and Tyler began chatting, and the seeds were sown for an exhibition match, structured as a competitive 5-mapper, not a best of 5, but 5 maps played with a bit of a twist. Given that Grubby has competed for 20 years as a professional RTS player, and Tyler had played for but a few months, Grubby had some handicaps. Game 1, 1 hero and no produced units. Game 2, Grubby was only allowed to play with 1 hand. Game 3, there's a 45-second delay. Game 4, 50% HP handicap, so that all of Grubby's units, buildings and heroes had 50% of the HP as Tyler's. And Game 5, a 2 versus 1. Grubby, being the wholesome, simply huge RTS fan he is, gave Tyler a number of intense coaching sessions, showing him everything from the basics through to more advanced strategy, build orders, and how to refine his micro, encouraging Tyler's natural aggressive playstyle and nurturing it into something more nuanced. He wanted to see the best possible game and offered everything he could to train Tyler, but in return, Grubby took it very seriously out of respect. The exhibition match had unprecedented levels of success. There were 80,000 concurrent viewers across Twitch and YouTube, more than Warcraft 3 has likely ever had for a competitive match. With some of the highlights including, in the no units handicap, a recreation of the March of the Ents, was just a thing of beauty. Now, this is where the roots of Warcraft 3 started to reach out beyond those returning players from 20 years ago, but to fans of both RTS and other genres as well. The hype train started moving, and nothing could stop it. Warcraft 3 had new blood for the first time in years. It was shortly after this exhibition that Grubby announced that a tournament would take place, the OnlyFangs Invitational, with 8 players from the OnlyFangs Guild taking part, all of them signing up for a chance to win glory. The invitees had various skill levels, some had never touched an RTS in their life, some were former high-ranked StarCraft 2 players, but haven't touched an RTS in over 10 years, and some, including Tyler, had been grinding the game for a few months. But the wholesome, benevolent Grubby was at the centre of it all. He started coaching all of the individual players to make them be the best they can be, teaching them the peculiarities of creeping, potential strategies surrounding different hero and army compositions, build orders, and all around being the most supportive person he can, all while being so incredibly chill and endearing himself to so many, far beyond the RTS and his existing communities. He regularly checks in on his budding students even when they aren't asking for it, tuning into their streams or watching replays of theirs, like an invested father, taking notes, giving feedback. It's just so nice to see and wholesome. He's on nobody's side. He just wants his favourite game of all time to do well, and for others to enjoy it too, and be the best they can be while doing so. With all the hype around the tournament, Grubby agreed to initially have a prize pool of 5k coming from his own pocket. And in the most amazing turn of events, in what seems to be one of the few pieces of good PR Blizzard have had in several years, they agreed to front up 10k for the prize pool as well. The stage was set. The tournament would take place across March 14th and 15th, 2025. All that was left was for the competitors to practice, and they took it very seriously. Last but not least, the groups were announced, and from March 14th we will get to witness who will take it all and who will win the ultimate glory. Warcraft 3 is the most popular it's been in decades, all because of our favourite Grubster. Thank you, Grubby, for staying true to who you are, an RTS fanatic who just wants others to love and take part in the genre he loves more than any other. And look how far it's come. With his trademark, cool, calm, respectful personality, his insane analytical approach to everything he does, Grubby has endeared himself to gamers of all genres. Now the rest of the world knows why we've loved him for all these years. He never gave up his dedication to Warcraft 3, he endured the pain that was Reforged, but he kept playing, and more people started watching. That leads to the question, are we now at the beginning of a new golden age of Warcraft 3?